I'm so bad at YouTube. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Sjokz and today I will be talking to you about going freelance, why I went freelance, why I left my full-time job at Riot Games to pursue a freelance career. These are all questions that have been asked to me many times over the last couple of months. I'm going to be breaking the video up in 3 parts. The first one will be personal reasons I had for going freelance. The second one will be career-related reasons why I went for going freelance. And the third one will be how I am finding being a freelancer a couple of months in. I want to make the disclaimer that a lot of things that I'm going to say today have to do with my personal kind of feelings and my personal desires and wants. And I know that I'm in a privileged position by having a job that is a dream job, but that doesn't mean that there aren't bad sides to a dream job. So the first thing in my personal sphere has to do with the fact that the Riot Calendar and the LoL Esports Calendar is very intense, and it is all year round. It starts very early in January with the preparations for LCS and for LEC. Then it goes through MSI, mid-season invitational, almost straight into the summer split, into the regional qualifiers, and then there's 1 week or so, and then the preparations start for the World Championship. Then there is a little bit of time, and then it comes to All-Star, and by then it's almost Christmas. And a common misconception is that us casters and people on broadcast show up, do the show, and go home. That is extremely far from the truth. The days that we're not on broadcast, we are most likely in the office, and the days that we are not in the office, we are still preparing and communicating with each other. Now, I obviously had the absolute honor and joy to be able to go to all of these events. We didn't have as much talent before. Wonderful Ovalie wasn't around. I think I'm the only one who did most of them in its entirety. I just found the need to wanting to dictate my own time a little bit more, and that in essence came down to doing less of the circuit, doing less of EULCS, LEC, doing less of the international events in its entirety. And I know for some people that is really shocking, because why wouldn't I want to be there? And I do, but I also have different priorities that I didn't have a couple of years ago. During the last 7 years, I've missed almost every birthday, anniversary, special occasion, important moment, illness, anything that I had to be there for my family. I have not been there in the last couple of years. The same for my best friends. And my grandparents, for example, they're getting a bit older, and I do want to have the opportunity to make my schedule and be able to go home with them a bit more than I have been able to do in the past. And we'll get to it later in kind of what I've learned in a couple of months of freelance, but I don't really have more time on my hands because I want to work every day. So I ended up replacing the times where I didn't go to LEC by doing other shows, editing, streaming, and just doing all kinds of stuff. So for now, I'm still doing the same amount of stuff, but I still feel like I have more agency in deciding when I'm going to be where. Thank you for subscribing. 51L3. Silence! Oh my god, it took me way too long to read that. Jeez. Next up, we will move to the next section, which is career reasons for going freelance. And this is a very nuanced topic. And I just want to go ahead and say straight off the bat from the top that there are no big reasons related to me going freelance that have to do with working at Riot Games. People have been very supportive. I have everything to thank to Riot for all the chances that they've given me. The platform of working for League of Legends has been fantastic for me. So from a career perspective, for all the big opportunities I've gotten through League of Legends, I've also gotten the comment, are you crazy to leave behind League of Legends? Let me be extremely clear in this. I am not leaving anything behind. I am still as committed as ever to League of Legends and to the LEC. A question I've also gotten very often is, why are you an LEC if you're freelance? Well, because being a freelancer means I can still work with LEC. It just means that it will be in a different capacity. Before then, I was a full-timer who was in the office the whole week and did every show. Now I am a freelancer. That means there are certain weeks where I'll be there and certain days where I'll be preparing with the team, but it'll be less than before. One thing that's come up a couple of times is it because you want to earn more money? And I think maybe that's also a reason why a lot of people are watching this video. And from a financial and monetary standpoint, let me first say that I was very well cared for at Riot, at the LEC. However, a big reason why I did go freelance is because I wanted to do more opportunities, and with some of those will also come monetary gain and financial gain. One of my big goals by setting out to do this is that I want to just give more facets to my brand than just the person you see on League of Legends. By doing YouTube and showing you guys a different side, by doing streaming, by doing different events, by doing different kind of hosting roles, by doing different esports, I just show you guys a lot more of my portfolio.
Welcome to the Esports Awards 2018. You all look lovely, I have to say.
Yeah.
The hope is that at the end of the day, and hopefully in a few years, shows that I've been able to leverage my brand outside of League of Legends to so much more. It's getting really bright. Is that a sign from someone up above that that I made a good decision, or I'm just gonna take it as that? From a career and a creative standpoint, I also just want to be able to work with a lot of different productions and broadcasts inside of esports and outside of esports to kind of level up my scope, because I'm in this wonderful Riot Games bubble where the production is really good and perfect and is fantastic, and I love working with it. But I want to be thrown into the deep end once in a while and you know, do other events, work with other organizers, work with productions that might not be as perfect in one regard, but then may offer a lot of things in another regard. And I think I've also learned a thing or two about kind of production and behind the scenes where I could leverage those talents as well. I hope you guys understand. I'm definitely very excited for this step, and I think most people have also shared in my excitement. They were glad to see me take this step. They were glad to see me spreading my wings, let's say. Oh, it's also really warm. It's winter, but whew. Finally, I want to talk about, now a couple of months into freelance, the upsides and the downsides so far. And I'm going to start with the upsides. On the one hand, it has been really cool for me to be able to dictate my own schedule a lot more. I've been able to take breathers and take some time out to see people that I care for. Secondly, I've been super excited to discover a whole side of kind of business and negotiating and management and all that stuff that I haven't been in contact with for many years. Another facet is also that I've really enjoyed being creative out of my own self. Now, I'm not saying I wasn't creative at Riot, because to come up with the segments that we do as a team every week, it requires a lot of brain power from everyone involved. But on the other hand, beyond that point, everything is also done for you. So right now, editing, something I haven't done in over 7 years. I used to do it when I worked for SK Gaming. I'm really enjoying getting back into that and learning a new skill in life that's going to be handy for me later on, and also right now. I've really enjoyed streaming and building a community more.
Do it. Havna Jackie, thank you so much. Jay Garrick, Shake. Okay. How do streamers do this? This is so difficult. Oh my gosh.
I think that maybe isn't that much right now, but we're only a couple of months in, so I think I'll only be able to tell you definitively at the end of this year. But that also brings us to a couple of downsides of freelance so far. First up, I miss the LEC. I'm not gonna lie, whenever I'm watching, I'm like, oh my god, I miss them so much, but I also know that that is just a step that I took. But if you're watching, guys, I miss you guys every time, and your show is insane. Can't wait to be back. I'll be back in week 6. Secondly, where I thought that I'd be able to, you know, have more free time and all that, that is not really the case. I am still a workaholic, and you can take the person out of the company, but you can't take the workaholicness out of the person, I guess. So I've basically been running around, maybe even more than I would have when I was still working full-time, but I think a thing or two also has to do with the fact that I'm just starting out, so I'm really trying to do as much as possible. Thirdly, something that is a downside, but kind of also an upside, it's kind of dual, is the heightened pressure. The pressure of not only are people now judging me and watching me when I'm on the show necessarily, but now that I'm streaming and I've released a couple of YouTube videos, the content, when's that next video, when's that next stream, when's this next this, when is this next that, which I understand, and I'm happy for it because people want to see more content. But it is a lot that is opened up all of a sudden that I also need to deal with. So I need to again be able to force myself to sometimes switch off and sometimes say, no, I am not talking about that right now, or I'm not dealing with that now, or I'm not streaming tomorrow because I feel like shit. You know, it's something that I'm learning as I go. Just figuring everything out, kind of paperwork, taxes wise, all that stuff has been extremely stressful. I live in Germany, and I think fellow Germans will know that the bureaucracy is quite strong here. There's just a lot to figure out, but once you've figured it out and you have people helping you, it does work. But that is something that is quite stressful. Something really important as a freelancer is also that big trade-off you get between having a full-time job and everything being done for you and being okay for you. And I like that. I'm a person who wants to be careful and I want to be calculated, so I like the idea of a full-time job where I know where I have to be, when the money's on my bank account, what I can spend, all that. Freelancer, it's a whole different ballgame. You control all of that yourself, and also a lot is controlled by external factors. Do people even want to hire you? What do they want to hire you for? What are they paying you? What are they expecting? All of that is definitely hard and interesting to navigate in the first couple of months. I have had instances where I had a job lined up and that would take up like 2 weeks, and then that person never got back to me and I ended up jobless for 2 weeks. Hence I'm making this video. Just kidding. But things like that do happen, and these are things that I'm learning. Was this the greatest decision of my life? Maybe. I think I'll be able to tell you probably at the end of the year, 2019, a bit more definitively, but I do hope that this answered some questions for you. I talked a lot and I hope I made sense. I tried to break it down logically for you. It is just touch and go. I am learning as I go. I'm enjoying it. This is, in essence, I feel like the right step for me, the right thing I did, but only time will tell. And in the meantime, you can find content about me here on my channel. If you like this kind of video, please let me know. If you have any other questions, please let me know as well. And I love you guys. See you next time.